This is a Halloween edition of Money Talk. Tina Oberlin is the teller supervisor at NuMark Credit Union, and she joins us this morning on the Turk Furniture Studio line. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning. How are you today?
I could not be any better. I love our Halloween edition of Money Talk. We do it every year.
Yes, Scott. It's like our own little tradition.
It absolutely is. So today we're going to be talking about Halloween and some of the things that people must do this year because this is a different Halloween, more unique than anything we've ever seen before. And to give us all the inside information, all the safety tips, I'd like to welcome in the police chief for the city of Crest Hill, Chief Ed Clark, who joins us on the Turk Furniture Studio line as well. Chief, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Scott. How are you doing?
I am fine and dandy. We've been talking to Chief frequently lately about some hardcore stuff, so it's kind of nice to talk about something a bit lighter, right, Chief?
That works for me. Absolutely.
Yes, it does. Well, Tina, before we get into our Halloween safety tips here today, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with NuMark?
I am in my 9th year here. It's hard to believe, but I'm in my 9th year.
Okay. And what'd you do before that?
Oh, I worked at the U.S. Postal Service for 14 years. Then I worked for the Diocese of Joliet for almost 10 years. And in between there, I had some time off. I raised my son. That was very important to me until he was 9 when I went back to work. And that's when I went back to work. And I worked as a real estate assistant for Nancy Hebler for 20 years, doing 2 jobs and 3 jobs. But I had a child to support on my own since I was 9, so I've been very busy.
Oh, I guess so. And your role as teller supervisor at NuMark, what is it you do on a daily basis?
Well, I take care of the teller line here. All the things involved with that, scheduling. But a lot of days, like right now, it's a little crazy. Times are very different, and I've been on the teller line itself. So I pretty much will do anything I need to do to help NuMark. I solve problems. I troubleshoot. I work the teller line. I help the tellers out. I order the cash. I wear a lot of hats.
I guess so. Now, what you guys have been doing, I know the branch, at least here in Crest Hill, was closed for a little bit, but you've reopened several months ago, but still
Right.
Safety precautions and everything in place, right?
Absolutely. You must wear a mask. We have hand sanitizer all over our lobby. We have the footprints where to do social distancing. All of the typical things people are doing in establishments we're doing here. They've really gone the mile. They've done, extra cleaning here. NuMark is really, really on top of all this. I must say they're very cognizant of this COVID, and they want to keep everyone, all their members, all their employees safe.
Very, very nice. Has teller business been up, though? Have you noticed? And obviously when the branch was closed on the inside, but since it's reopened, are more people still going through the tellers just because they learn that, hey, this is easy, you get great service, so on and so forth?
In the beginning, there was still a huge proportion of people utilizing just the drive, which is fine. But I have noticed a huge shift back into the lobby, and the people tell us that it's very heartwarming when they say, "We've missed visiting with you and seeing you," and because it's truly like a family here. I know that is our tagline, and some people may think it's a little corny, but it's the truth. They get to be your family, know about everything going on in their lives, and you try to help them. So. Yeah, they want to come in, want to visit, and they want to see us and say hi, so they're coming back in.
All right, well, let's move on. The police chief of Crest Hill is Ed Clark. Ed, how long have you been police chief in the city?
Became police chief in May of 2017, so moving on to year 4 here.
I was going to say, it's been a few years now, but you've been with the force for how many years in Crest Hill?
I've been with Crest Hill for 22 years. I've been in law enforcement for 24 total.
All right.
It's quite a while.
Yeah. No, when you started, was police chief something that you had, as far as one of your goals are concerned? Because some people would like to do your job. Some people are like, no way, man, I want nothing to do with that. So is this something that was your goal?
I just loved being a police officer so much when I started, and my goal really was if I could be an investigator and then be a sergeant, that was really where I had my sights set on. Opportunities had arisen from there, and here I am today. But it just goes to show, I mean, you just keep pushing, and eventually, you can get to where you want to go in life. But this is well beyond where I even ever wanted to be. But very happy, very proud of the department, and just working every day to try to make things better.
A lot more paperwork too, right?
There is. I mean, it's all encompassing. You have to worry many working parts going on, and make sure everything's working properly. And I have a lot of good people, so that really makes it so much easier. When you have good people working for the department, it really helps tremendously to make your job easier.
Yep, I can imagine. All right, so Halloween time is upon us, and like everything else in our world, things are a little bit different this year. Is Crest Hill having trick-or-treat hours?
Yes. Crest Hill's trick-or-treat hours this year is from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That was with direction from the city council. And so 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., obviously, everybody can go on the Department of Health website for guidance on how they should participate in trick-or-treating this year. There's some restrictions and things that they recommend. Obviously, we're going to recommend not everybody use social distancing, wear your masks, have your kids wear your masks. You're going to have to really pay attention this year, drivers as well, because they're going to be wearing also their masks. So that may cause an extra distraction, but we do recommend everybody practice social distancing, and let's have a safe Halloween this year and not try to increase the spread here.
So you feel like it's okay to do this, right? You feel it's safe?
I think it's up to the individual. If you don't feel that you want to do this, and this is something that you want to be safe and not participate in, that's well within your right. If you do, let's just make sure we're safe about it. Put your candy out on a table maybe instead of handing it out individually. Keeping that social distancing, keeping yourself wearing a mask. Make sure people that are coming up to your yard or your door are wearing their masks. If you have children, make sure they're washing their hands frequently or using hand sanitizer. Wash their hands before they consume any of the candy. Those things that we need to do to try and just keep this pandemic from spreading.
You mentioned masks, and that's a good point, because people are going to have masks on, yet have masks on, the PPEs. And so let's talk a little bit about keeping our kids safe while they're out, to make sure they can see what's going on, because it's getting darker earlier. And I know you guys are starting at 3, which is it's a really good idea. Get out there with more daylight. But talk a little bit about some safety tips when the parents have their kids out with them.
Well, when you have the kids
I'll
out,
tell you.
go ahead.
One of the things I suggest, kind of comically, but I think we might have a lot of little doctors and nurses this year that would be real appropriate with the face masks. But I wanted to also note, in the city of Crest Hill, I had requested our city administrator to design a printable sign, a large sign that people can post in their windows. It's bright orange with black lettering saying that home was participating in Halloween. We have them available at City Hall, but they can also download them and print them themselves. And I think it's a wonderful idea, because then right away they see that house, they see that sign, they say, oh, they're doing it. So the children know they're going to be greeted there and accepted there. And I think that was really good. It was a small cost to the city, but a great benefit to the people in Crest Hill. So that will be available throughout the month until Halloween. And the other thing is, there's so many creative things that people have come up with. If you look at Pinterest or the internet, they made chutes for their doors where you have no contact to deliver the candy. I know one of my neighbors made the cutest, most adorable dish I put outside. It's up on stilts. It's made out of a spider web and wood, and it's Tom, one of my neighbors. It's so adorable. And you fill it with candy, and they can help themselves. So there's just all these creative ideas for non-contact distribution of the candy. And, of course, I would also recommend no homemade goodies. Make sure everything's factory sealed.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some people like to do little cookies and put them in bags and stuff like that. Just go with the old school Kit Kats this year, right?
Yeah, and I bought full size at my house, Scott, if you want to come over.
Full size?
Yeah, Reese.
Chief, what's her address? Can you get that for me from your driver's license deal?
I have a feeling it'll be out of candy pretty quick with the full size.
Maybe I better order some more, though.
It's funny.
There you go.
You're the second person I've heard that said they were going to give away full-size candy bars because all the you-know-what kids have gone through this year with not being able to go to school and this, that, or the other. I think you're right. I think we ought to up our game. As parents and homeowners this year, we need to up our game, Tina. I love the advice.
Yeah, I feel really bad. I mean, children of all people, Scott, they're so innocent, and Halloween, one of the last bastions of fun for children, and now even that's affected, and it's not any fault of theirs. It's not any fault of any of ours, but, the little things we can do to help it, I mean, I'm all for that.
What kind of candy bar? You said full size, but you didn't tell me what kind.
I have Reese's, the big ghost.
Ooh, all right. Big, ginormous
I also have
Reese's.
pretzels, too, anybody that doesn't want candy.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with the candy. I can do pretzels anytime. We're talking with Tina Oberlin from NuMark Credit Union. This is Money Talk, and Ed Clark is the police chief for Crest Hill there on 1340 WJOL's Money Talk. So, Chief, I think we kind of went over tips for adults giving out candy that night. I know some people have come up with those tubes. Have you seen the tubes that people are attaching?
I've seen that before on Facebook.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't know if that's completely necessary, but whatever. If you want to do it, knock your socks off. Let's talk about some low-risk Halloween activities, Chief, that can be done in place. If you don't want your kid to go door to door again, like Chief so perfectly said, it's your call, man. No big deal. What are some of the other things that you think kids might do that aren't necessarily related to going door to door?
Well, they can, obviously, a lot of in-house with the family kind of events you can do. You can obviously have things delivered. You can go to have the parents go somewhere and pick up candy and do things more outside. I know it's not what all the kids want to do, but if you're concerned about it, I mean, there are things you can do inside. You can watch maybe different kind of Halloween shows and do things of that sort to stay indoors and not have that much contact. It's a difficult thing this year. It really is. Everybody loves Halloween, but with the pandemic on, it's a unique year, and probably hopefully never have another one like it.
Yeah, let's hope not. That's for sure. Tina, have you seen or talked to anyone planning certain alternate activities?
Well, I know that the Park District is going to have a Halloween movie night out at out off of Renwick Road, and they're having two different movies, The Ring and Hocus Pocus, I believe, and it's $5 per car. So you can check that out on their website. I mean, that's one alternative. I know a lot of places they're having small groups in their home, for the kids, just very small groups, like, just maybe 3 or 4. Just like maybe the children and their best friends, and anything like that you can do. It's just nice that the children have some alternative. I mean, I really feel sad for them because I remember as a child we used to get to go 2 days, and we loved it. So that's why I'm all for anything we can do to make it fun for the kids and safe for the kids. I know, Chief, I never got to say when you said that about police, we have a great police department. I wanted to second that. And, I know we're going to have some extra patrols out there, and put your lights on. Make sure you put your lights on for the kids, and just keep an eye out all over the neighborhoods. The more eyes on the children, the better.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Chief, collecting candy is a big part of Halloween. Give us some basic tips on what parents should do before the kiddies start going crazy.
Well, I mean, they have to inspect the Halloween candy, and that's number one. Go through all the candy, make sure nothing's opened, make sure there's no contamination, and make sure that, again, this year more than ever, make sure the children wash their hands and may have no contact with the actual packaging, and try to work it in a way in which, we can limit any kind of transmission. But in years past, it's the usual stuff. Make sure that the candy is in the package. It's sealed from the factory. Tina said I would avoid any kind of homemade type treats or anything like that. Might be well-intentioned, but something to avoid. But just that inspection of the candy, make sure everything looks safe and everything's good, and then, as you want, let the kids dig in.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. All right, Tina, give us some last-minute ideas for costumes? You mentioned doctors and nurses earlier.
Yes, that's a good one. Well, think of your own jobs, the parents' employment. Like, when I worked for the post office, I had all kinds of post office pith helmets and all that. I dressed him up one year as a mailman. I mean, whatever you do for a living, either your husband, the wife, whatever, there's always ideas there, but there's always all kinds of creative things you can do with makeup too, although the face will be covered, ghost. I mean, if you're really desperate and take an old sheet, you can have a ghost, and you're going to kind of do two things. Once there, the mask on, but you just want to make sure that they can see the eye holes, they can see out. Just look around your home. There's so many options. And with the internet now, Pinterest, you can dream up a costume with just about anything in your kitchen anymore. I mean, it's unbelievable, but just let the kids have fun and be safe.
Yep, you got it exactly right. All right, Chief, wrapping things up here. Let's hear from you. Basically, what should we take away from today's show about staying safe during Halloween?
Well, I mean, this year more than ever, we have that extra worry and concern about COVID and making sure we're not spreading it. So I think that's an extra thing that we have to be concerned about. That's kind of the overall arching concern. The other thing to take away is that, as I put on our Facebook page, is when you're out in the city driving around, make sure that that kids, they don't always do the right thing. They'll dart out in traffic, and God forbid. So we have to be extra aware of this occurring. Maybe slow down. Just take a mental note. Slow down your vehicle. Cover your brake at intersections, and just be prepared and be aware. Parents and adults, be on the lookout, and let's just watch our kids and make sure that we have a good, safe Halloween. And I think that's the overall point is let's make this a safe one. And with the COVID being looming always, we just got to make sure that we have to make sure that everybody's safe and healthy. And let's get through this healthy and move on to more holidays.
Well said, that's for sure. Chief Ed Clark, Police Chief, Crest Hill, thank you very much. Tina Oberlin, Supervisor, NuMark Credit Union Tellers, thank you very much, guys. We appreciate your time today, and have a happy Halloween. And make sure you save one of those Reese's cups for me, okay, Tina?
You got it.
All right, guys.
Happy Halloween.
All right, thanks, guys. We appreciate that.
Thank
All
you.
right, now, speaking of treats, I have a $25 gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Yeah, how about that? All right. Here's my question. I think I just gave away the answer a second ago. That's okay. Caller 5 and the first correct caller after that at 815-254-7300. What kind of candy is Tina going to be giving away at her home? She mentioned full-size what? Again, caller number 5 and the first correct caller after that, 815-254-7300. And you are going to be a winner. Coming up next, Davis Jaspers has an incredible offer for you. Vitalife of New Lenox. Ladies, listen up, because something is coming your way that is free, and it could literally save your life.
When you close your